Let's try this again. Uh, I had quite a lengthy video going, and then the cat decided he didn't want to be in my lap anymore, jumped down and knocked my mouse off, and I lost track of where I was, and everything just kind of died. So we're starting over. Hi. Let's see if I can remember everything I talked about. First, if you've been watching, if you've been paying attention, you will notice that episodes 16 and 17 of the Star Fox Adventures playthrough had a little bit of a snafu with the audio. Episode 16, when I first uploaded it, the game audio was not included. I re-rendered the video with the proper audio and re-uploaded it, so that's the current episode 16 is the correct episode 16. Uh, Sorry, there's something in my eye now, too, of all things. Uh, with episode 17, you'll notice that the audio is slightly desynced from the video, both my commentary and the gameplay audio. It's because I sync my audio to the gameplay audio based on different audio cues. I try and match the sound waves visually. So if the video is off, I have no way of knowing. I don't know how the video got desynced because it's an MPEG. The video and the audio are deliberately synced. So I don't know what happened there, but as a result, I don't know how to fix it. I'm really sorry. Um, I want to fix it. I know it's really distracting, but I can't, and I'm really sorry. Uh, let's see here. What else? I'm a little spacey right now. It's about quarter to two in the morning. But that's not why I'm tired. You know, the last couple of videos I've done them at 4 in the morning. The thing is, last night I didn't get to sleep until about 6:30 in the morning, and somebody tried to call me at noon. And I was expecting a phone call, but I wasn't expecting it to come in at noon, and I wasn't expecting it to come from this particular individual. Um, and it was actually, it wasn't an individual, it was a vendor that was trying to get a hold of me. And there was no reason for them to call me at noon. And it really pissed me off, and so I wasn't able to get back to sleep. I had other things that needed to be done. So I took care of those things, and as a result, I'm exhausted right now. I was less than my best at work today, and it really showed. And I'm really tired. But I really wanted to get a video up explaining the problems with episodes 16 and 17 and why they were uploaded the way they were. It just That's how it happened. I'm really sorry. Genuinely sorry. I don't like producing anything less than my best, and that was not my best. Um, but I can't like on 17, I can't figure out what's wrong, and on 16, that was my bad. I figured it out, and I just when I when I rendered episode 16 and uploaded it, I didn't have time to review it. Normally, I review all of the videos before they go online. I look them over and I make sure that the frame rate looks okay, that there's not some horrible glitch in the middle of them, and I make sure that that the sound is correct. But I didn't have time on episode 16 to actually do that, so that's why it went up without my peer review, and it was the one time that it really needed it. Um, so that was my bad. Uh, Episode 18 is rendering right now in the background, so if the frame rate of this video seems a little bit lower than my vlog videos normally are, that's why. It's because my computer is processing that video while I'm asking it to record this one. I've also got a little bit of acid reflux right now. So, there's that. Let's see, what else? What else is there? I know there's more. I know there's a lot more. I'm up to 4 subscribers now. I don't remember how many I was up to the last time I made an announcement along those lines. But I'm up to 4, and I'm really happy about that. To all 4 of you, I know one of them is me, but to the other 3 of you, thank you. I hope I'm being entertaining enough that to warrant continued viewing. I know somebody, one of the viewers has been, one of the subscribers rather, has been commenting lately, and I really appreciate that. I'm sorry I don't have your username right in front of me, but you're kind of the only person who's commented, so you know who you are. And I appreciate it. And I didn't get a chance to comment back to your most recent comment. I sorry, I'm still really out of it. I appreciate it. Like I said, I do appreciate it, and I think I know what you're talking about. You were saying that I should be using the Y button more in some of these missions, and I agree. I should be. It's been a long time since I played this game. I most recently, besides this game, I've been playing Skyrim, and the way I play Skyrim is kind of the way I'm playing Star Fox Adventures right now, which is just beat the shit out of everything and let it just, uh, run its course. I rarely actually put any strategy into my gameplay, and that's just how I play. Even in fighting games, games where strategy is actually important, I'll just sit there and wail. I don't like to use the same attacks over and over again. I see that as pointless, not entertaining, not fun. But I rarely block in fighting games. I rarely block in. I never block in Skyrim. I've died multiple times as a result because I just don't. I don't think to. But that's just how I play, and I know it's got to be frustrating to people who play the game the way it was intended to be played. Taking advantage of the Y button, taking advantage of the shield, taking advantage of the things that the game gives you in order to make it a little bit easier. And I understand that is what it's for. It's to make the game easier. And I've been complaining a lot about how hard the game is. Not really how hard it is, but how frustrating it is. The thing is, for me, blocking, adding new stuff to the Y button, stuff like that, that adds to the tediousness of the game. It takes me away from enjoying the game. That I don't know. That's the way I am. So I'm sorry. I hope it's not too frustrating. I know it is frustrating because I I yell at the Game Grumps all the time, just at my monitor, like, "Come on, guys! It's just right there. You know what you're doing because it's right here." So I know where you're coming from. I do, and I don't mean to brush it off. I'm not. I'm not brushing it off at all. I'm just saying that's unfortunately that is how I play. So I'm sorry. Haven't seen anything about the Famicom yet. Haven't seen anything about much of anything yet, actually, that I haven't talked about already. God, I'm also exhausted. I didn't get enough sleep last night, but I'm also exhausted because I've been running out of food. Not entirely. I mean, I have food. I just I've been running out of the relatively easy to make food, so I've been kind of having to prepare Meals. Oh no, I'm a almost 30-year-old fully grown man who has to make his own food, right? But it to me, it's tiring, and I that's just how I am. So, trying to readjust here. You can't. Sorry. You can't tell from the webcam. I'm not a fatty. I know, that what I just said is very stereotypical of somebody who has put on weight and doesn't want to. And I don't mean any offense to anybody who is overweight, because I do know how it is. I myself, I'm not overweight. I've never been, but I I have quite a few relatives, and I know lots of people who are. Um, I'm gonna be a stereotype. I'm going to stereotype people here and say, I've been to anime conventions. I've been in the anime fan community. I'm a gamer. I know overweight people, and I know it's not fun. It's not that you're lazy. It's not that you're shit like that. It's that you 9 times out of 10, it's an actual legitimate condition. Um, like, I know people with diabetes who, because they have diabetes, they've put on a lot of weight, and it's not something that they can help. Um, so I understand, and I'm not trying to make fun of that. I'm just saying that, as stereotypical as I sound for saying, I really don't like making my own food because it makes me tired. Um, I'm not actually fat. Uh, I'm 5'10", 5'11", that area, and I'm about 160 pounds. I've actually been losing weight lately, partly because I have been running out of food, but also partly because I've been trying to lose weight. I put on in 2011. I broke a rib, and I put on 35 pounds as a result of that. And that, I've known somebody who broke their back, actually, and put on a large amount of weight after that because they couldn't move. They were sedentary because they broke their back. Um, and now that I've been in a similar situation, having broken a rib, I couldn't. I mean, I could obviously function. I was a lot better off than this person, but I couldn't exercise as well as I used to. I couldn't do all of the things I used to be able to do. So I became a little bit more sedentary and ended up putting on 35 pounds. I used to be 150, and so that's why I've been kind of trying to lose a little bit more weight. It's not really important, and actually my BMI, well, not my BMI, my actual body fat content is on the low end of healthy, so I am actually fit. I'm just, it's like, you know what, I'd like to lose a couple pounds. Now that I've bored you with that, what else? What else to talk about, right? um, I mean, I do want these. I want these vlogs to be a little bit shorter than they have been. They've been like 40 minutes long, and that's insane. I know that's a lot of time to sit here and watch me ramble at you, and I don't mean to do that. But at the same time, I don't want them to be little 10-minute snippets of whatever. And I don't. I could edit them, go into Premiere Pro and just cut and make the video like half as long as it actually is. Cut out all the times when I'm going, what was I going to talk about again? That kind of thing. But one, that takes up even more time that I don't have, and two, it takes a lot of time to process it, and then I can't just upload it. So it's more time that I don't have. What else? What else? What else? What else? I've been trying to get back into genealogy. You may not know this. You probably don't. I know I mentioned it once in one of my vlogs that I do genealogy. I do personal genealogy, but I've been kind of trying to get into writing personal family histories, specifically my personal family history, but also possibly other people's, because I find family histories fascinating. It's something that you don't, especially as I personally, I'm an American, um, and in this country, I've noticed that it's a very strong cultural disconnect with who you were before your family was American. Um, you know, like my family, we came largely from Britain. I have exactly two relatives who came here in the uh, relatively recent past, and one was Alsatian, which, if you know what that is, you know exactly how long ago I'm talking about. It was kind of a long time ago. And the other one was Prussian, which, again, if you know how long ago that was, you're actually they came over about the same time, um, the mid 1800s, which was even before the big the Great Migration. So before the whole "give me you're tired, you're hungry, you're poor" started, um, the last of my ancestors came over here. So my family's been American for a very, very, very long time. Actually, I have numerous ancestors who fought in the Revolutionary War, and so we've been here a while, um, and I've been noticing the more research I do, the more their personal histories line up with the history of America as a whole. And I've kind of been telling myself, well, you know, talking to myself, because that's what I do. I talk to myself a lot. Um, and it becomes this, it, to me, the story of my family is the story of America. Um, it sounds kind of cheesy and cliche, but it's really true. Um, yeah, here, Nat. Um, but it's true. I had family members come over, not on the Mayflower, but with a separate but similarly timed ship. Um, like the next ship after the Mayflower, I had family on that. I had family that came over with Jamestown. Uh, I had family that came over in the 1700s that just came over because it was a different land. So yeah, and then of course the Revolutionary War. Excuse me. Really, that acid reflux is getting to me. So yeah, the Revolutionary War, War of 1812. I had relatives fighting that, and of course the Civil War. Like just massive, massive quantities of people fought in that war, and everyone thus far that I've been able to find in my family fought for the Union, but that I'm not 100% do not advocate slavery at all. I'm glad that the war was won by who it was won by, but at the same time, the South had a point with regards to states' rights, and not about the slavery. They were very, very wrong about the slavery, and I know that that's what the states' rights was about. Um, and in that regard, they were wrong. But it's like there was a point that the federal government did outline certain things that were in the Constitution, and whatever was not outlined in the Constitution went to the states. So that was their whole argument. And slavery was one of those parts that the Founding Fathers, they didn't really want to touch on because there were a lot of slave owners among the the Constitutional Convention. There were a lot of slave owners there, and it was an issue that they didn't want to touch on. They were like, and actually they wrote that into the Constitution as well. They were like, we will touch on this at a later date, and I think it was like 1840, something like that, because it was sufficiently far enough ahead that they were like, we're all going to be dead by then. We don't actually have to deal with it. So that was the whole point. And so the fact then that slavery was not written into the Constitution, even though that provision allowed for the federal government to address slavery at that later time, that's where the South was coming from. And so it's like you can't just write off the South as being, pure evil, because that's how a lot of, and I know if you're watching this and you live in the South, you're like, the fuck are you talking about? In the North, having grown up in Ohio, we were taught in the Civil War that the Union was fighting for the side of right, the side of good, the side of human justice and all of that, and that the South was fighting for personal financial gain, and there wasn't any actual. It's like I know that's not the truth. I've since grown up. I've read the history books. I know what happened. I know what the logic was on either side, and that wasn't what actually was going on, but that is what we were taught in school. And I know that in the South it's taught as the War of Northern Aggression, because it kind of was. But anyway, I'm rambling about the Civil War when I was talking about genealogy. Like I said, all of my ancestors who fought in the Civil War that I found thus far, because I haven't found everybody yet, but all the ones I found thus far have fought on the Union side. They're all well documented. It's actually phenomenal how well documented they are. And it was a rough war. I think it was Walt Whitman who said something along the lines of, there will not be a single book written that will truly grasp the horrors of this war. It's a rough paraphrasing. I don't remember the exact wording, but it's like looking at what actually happened, looking at the history of the people in my own family at least, he was 100% correct. It was a horrible, horrible war. And not just because it was brother fighting brother, but it was just awful. I mean, absolutely awful. And I could talk for hours about the Civil War and be completely boring about it. If you want to hear me talk about the Civil War, tell me. I don't mind. I just don't think that's what this channel's about, because this channel's about gaming. And I've been talking about genealogy for far too long. But gaming-wise, let's relate gaming to genealogy. My dad started playing games when he was in high school, because that's when the video game market started to emerge, was when my dad was in high school. And I know that kind of dates me, but when I was born, it was shortly after the video game crash of 1983, so it was the heyday of Nintendo. And so I got to live through that. I got to experience that whole era. And I know I talked about that at great length in my last video, so I'm not going to talk your ear off in this one. But I think, because it's Wednesday now, technically, but then Thursday, when I do start recording again, I don't think I'm going to do Star Fox. I mean, part of me wants to continue because it's like, I want to see it finished, but it's it's going to be a long, long time before it's finished. And I'll give you a little bit of a spoiler here. Episode 21 is the episode where I beat a boss. So it's a good stopping point. It's the first of, to my knowledge, or to my recollection rather, 5 bosses. The first of 5. And it's not a particularly good fight. It's actually poorly fought by me, but it's a boss fight. But my point is, if it's 5 bosses and it's the first of 5 that I've just now beaten on episode 21, basic math tells you this is going to be an upwards of 100 episode series, which I don't mind doing, but it's going to be incredibly tedious if I don't break it up with other stuff. And yes, I've got an episode of E.T. and I've got an episode of Jungle Hunt that I need to upload and I need to process and all that. But until that happens, I don't want to continue to make the same exact thing over and over and over again. I will come back to Star Fox Adventures because it's as much as I badmouth it, I still have fun with it. As poorly written as it is, as poorly planned out as it is, I still have fun with it. So I'll still play it. I want to break it up a little bit. And I'm not entirely sure what I want to break it up with. I said in one of my earlier vlogs that I was going to do 2 episodes a day, that I was going to start, having the long series and then a couple of shorter series to break up the monotony. Obviously, that's not happened yet, and that's because I haven't had time to process 2 videos in one day. The other day when I did it for episode 16 and 17 was a miracle. I can't do that again. So, it's never happening. As much as I'd love for it to, I don't have that kind of time. And I don't have anybody here who'd be willing to process the videos for me. So it has to be me. So I have to put my own time and effort into it, and I don't have the time to do that. So instead of doing 2 episodes a day, I'm going to do 1 episode a day with, breaking it up with different games. And I'll probably do a few short ones, a few long ones. And like I said, I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do right now, what the next game is going to be. I might hook up the HDMI cable and see what I can do with that, or HDMI card, see what I can do with that. I might just play a few games on the NES. I don't know. We'll find out. You'll find out. If you have any game that you really want me to play, if you think I own it, and I might, it's entirely possible. I do have a library of games. It's not a very big library, but it is a library. So if you think I own a game and you'd like to see me play it, let me know. Comment below. Comment anywhere, really. And I'll think about it. I'll look into it. And even if you don't think I own it, let me know of a game that you want me to play, because if it's reasonably priced, I'll buy it. If I can find it locally, which is unlikely, but if I can find it locally, I'll buy it. So those are the options. Let's see here, what else? I know when the Famicom gets here, I'm going to play that quite a bit. I'm going to go ahead and end it here. I know I'm just rambling on, and I'm kind of trying to find things to fill this episode with, and we're already at half an hour, so I'm going to stop here. If you want to see something, a certain game or something like that from me, let me know. If you like this channel, I'd really appreciate it if you subscribed. It's not really necessary, but, to get that subscriber number up would really make me happy. And again, comment for what you like thus far. Comment about what you don't like thus far, and I'll address what I can when I can. It should be relatively quick, but it may not be. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.